you're a god power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Okay, let's have a look at this illustration. Now, we've got a guy with the green tuning fork, which means that tells me that he's having positive thoughts. That's what he's thinking. He's thinking on the positive side. Now, as he looks out into his world, there's a few things out there. There's some green tuning forks, which would indicate positive situations or positive aspects of situations or a positive viewpoint of a situation or a positive meaning of a situation. And there's red tuning forks, which would indicate either negative things, negative aspects of things, or negative meanings of things. And obviously, if he's got the green tuning fork and thinking positively, he's going to be resonating with the green positive things, the positive aspects, the positive meanings. And so sure enough, out of the 4 tuning forks, the 2 that are green are resonating like crazy. They're vibrating. They're responding. And the ones that are red, of course, are quiet. They're dormant. They're not being activated. They don't even know that he's there, and he doesn't even know that they're there. He's aware of the 2 green ones, and the 2 green ones are aware of him. Okay, let's see what this says here. First, we have the recipient who had to be feeling good and eliciting good things from his world and himself. Then, we have the person who provided the kind act who was vibrating on that same type frequency. Otherwise, he would have never seen the first person, much less done a kind deed for him. Okay, so now we're getting a look at the second person, the one who provided the kind act. So the first illustration is the one who received the kind act. Now, he's thinking positive thoughts. He has positive expectations. He's thinking that things are working out for him. He lives in a great world because that's what he thinks the world is. Now, this other guy, we see here on his illustration, he also has a green tuning fork in his mind, which tells us that he's also thinking positively at this time. And so, if he's thinking positively and along these type of nice, kind thing type of ideas and thoughts and vibrations, then he could very well, very easily become in resonance with this other guy who's thinking the same kind of thing. So here we've met 2 people, and they're each on the same page, so to speak. They're each thinking positive thoughts right now. So let's see what happens. Okay, they meet. Okay, now we see in the next illustration that sure enough, they meet. They're face to face here. Here it says, these 2 become aware of each other because they were resonating with each other at a level beyond their awareness. The recipient just thinks that this kind act just came out of the blue. And at the same time, the provider thinks that it was his idea and that he did it for no particular reason. Unbeknownst to him, his kind act was elicited from him, through him, by the power of resonance. Of course, it was not elicited from him specifically. It was just that it came through him because he was vibrating on the same type of frequency and they were on the same page, as it were. Okay, so now we get to the next illustration. By the way, let's talk about the first one. They're meeting each other. One guy is receiving the kind act. The other guy is providing the kind act. They're both on the same page, so to speak. They're both resonating with each other. Now, this is important. I know I've mentioned this before, in a prior example, but you cannot elicit something from somebody that's not there to start with. If you're playing a number 3 string on your guitar, and you've got another guitar that doesn't even have the number 3 string, it cannot respond. You cannot elicit that kind of a response from that guitar. You might be able to elicit a number 6 string, you might be able to elicit a number 1 string, but you can't elicit a number 3 string. It has to be there in the first place. So when this guy is eliciting this kind act from this other person, he's not causing that other person to do something that he wouldn't otherwise do. He's eliciting something from that person that person is already about. The kind of thing that person already likes to do. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to elicit it from him. You cannot elicit something, an act or whatever, from someone who doesn't have it in them. Now, you can elicit it from the universe. And if this person, if it's not within him to provide that kind act, then he's not going to be involved in this. It's going to be somebody else that it's going to come through. But in this example, it came through this guy because this guy was about that. He had that string. He had that vibration. He enjoyed helping people. Kind of like when I was stopping and helping people along the side of the road when they were broken down. They elicited that through me. It was when they elicited my help, where I pulled over, stopped, got out of my car, helped these people, okay? They didn't cause me to do something that I wouldn't normally do. They couldn't elicit that from me if I wasn't already into it, if I didn't already like doing it. There was plenty of people that passed by that had no interest in stopping and helping anybody. And you know what? They didn't stop and they didn't help. It wasn't elicited from them, nor could it be. But it can always be elicited from the universe. And how it comes about, who it comes through, and the way that it happens is always going to be, it's always going to be in a way that matches everybody's meaning. So the person who stops and helps you on the side of the road is going to be the person who likes doing that. So when you meet somebody and you're eliciting them because you've been given a great thought to the person you'd like to meet, when you meet them, they can't come into your experience unless they like somebody like you too. It's just the way it works. Okay. Now let's get to the really interesting part here.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 11, segment number 35. Let your quest for knowing continue.